everybody. It is so nice to see this group. I'm always fascinated with the power of the internet and bringing people from all different continents together. This is so exciting to have all these amazing researchers from Brazil here today. And we're gonna hear today from Felipe Chiarello. He's gonna talk about constituent dialogues and fundamental rights. We're gonna hear also from Bruna Azari. She's gonna talk about maternity or paternity leave, urgent and fundamental value for development and equality. And for me, being a Brazilian living in the US, it's screaming the differences between the US and Brazil. So this is going to be super, very exciting. Adilson Moreira is going to talk about affirmative action in Brazil between human dignity and social justice. And then Milena Poncho is going to talk about labor's intersection with the pursuit of equity in Brazil. I would like to give just a couple minutes for each one of you to just introduce yourself, and then we can start after that. We're going to start with you, Felipe. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Tati. It's very nice to see you again. Also, Thomas Poggi, met in Yale. It's great to see you all. I'm a provost of the Mackenzie University at São Paulo. I also was coordinator of the CAPES. It's a organism from the government that evaluate all the law PhD programs here in Brazil in the last 4 years. So I was elected by my fellow professors, PhD coordinators, and it was a great honor for me. Thank you so much.
And just a quick note, Felipe is a visionary. He brings all these new programs and projects to Brazil. And I'm always amazed with all that you offer, Felipe. Thank you for all that you do.
It's great to see all my colleagues from Brazil, Adilson, Bruna, Milena. It's very happy. I'm very happy to have you all here also. And I was planning to do an introduction to all the discussion that they will have on the debate about the human rights in Brazil. And I was mostly talked about the process of our constitution, because I was seeing the last panel when Sujata was talking, and the difference between the American Constitution and Brazilian Constitution. The problem that everybody in our Constitution is written in specific themes about some of the issues that we discussed, have the good side and the bad side. The good side is you have everything that we achieved by going out from a dictator to a democratic space, and discuss all the rights and put them all in the 5th article of the Constitution. What we say, we have the systemization committee in our Constitution, whose the head was Bernardo Cabral, and he tried to put all of the discussion about this human rights and all the rights that we were putting on the text of the Constitution. And that's why we had, for example, 2,100 electronic records relating to the amendments of this human rights and projects, and highlights spread across a dozen databases that can be accessed on 150 public and private institutions where participation in the country, more than 2,000 boxes with the original assembly documents, and we have like a 2015 video cassette tapes recorded about the process, and 1,070 photos and tapes about the process of this discussion about the human rights in this process of the Constitution. What I'm trying to say, the good part of this process was the Constitution of 1988 from Brazil was named the Citizenship Constitution, the Citizen Constitution, because everybody was participating on it. And the process to participate on your constitution, democratic with the people on it, it's very important for the nation. That's the good part of it, because all of the forces were represented, and we had so many advances, like direct democracy, habeas data, access to all our documents from the government, vote on 16 years old. We had end of censorship, for instance, positivated in the Constitution. We have the paternity leave or maternity leave that Bruno is going to say about it was on the test of the Constitution. More maternity leave, not paternity, but she will explain better than me this issue. But some of the things were left out. For instance, there was a proposition to prohibit the armed forces to intervene in internal order, but this was left out. For other thing that was left out was the expropriation of the productive property for agrarian reform. This was left out. And also peaceful to end to nuclear activity was also left out from the human rights. But there was a enormous debate about the abortion, for instance, and I'm gonna say that for us we had some discussion about this problem, and we are facing some of the issues now in the Supreme Court, Brazilian Supreme Court. We are discussing this because there was this parliamentary Tutu Quadros that said it would be pretentious on our part as politicians to the new chapter to moralize the Brazilian people. We simply have to protect them, the citizen. That was they were trying to say. We don't have to prohibit the abortion in Brazil. In the Constitution, you understand what I mean? And she was saying that we have to protect the people, and Brazil needs to write in the Constitution all things to protect the women and the society. That was she was trying to say in the moment. In the other part, we are talking about the American Constitution, that they doesn't have those things written as express written. And the Brazilian, we were trying to use the democratic and the participation of all the people to put those things together. And this the deputy senator she was trying to protect the women, and she said we have the issue about the health in Brazil, and we don't have to prohibit anything. We have to protect the people, and this was the place that everybody was participating in this process, and was great for us to see. For instance, the discussion about the land. If you go to the main article in our Constitution about the human rights, you put the life, but you put also the equality, and morality, and sorry, how do you say, moradia, né? Pode falar, Bruno. Moradia, você sabe? Moradia.
It's the right for housing.
Housing, yeah, the right for housing. And there was this, Roberto Freire said in our Constitution that life and housing they were not similar, because life is a superior part, and housing is not as important. But they decided to leave them all, because they wanted to put all the issues in the constitutional law. So now we have all the things put it together in this fifth article, and they are all expressed by our text. We have a lot to learn by this process. Was very important for us to do this. This was the constitution that they had most particular participation of the community and the ONGs and from all over Brazil. Also was the first constitution that the children had a specific chapter to preserve them from violence and other things. So this was very important for us to, like the lady said, on to put the rights, like to protect them in our constitution for the next generations. That's what we were trying to do this, and that's what we did on this test. That was my place here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Felipe. Yes, and who would like to go after Felipe?
Tachi, I was going to say, if Felipe is not going to be here for the whole time, should we do questions and then however you want to do it? But I know Felipe has to leave.
Absolutely. All right. I didn't know you were leaving, Felipe. Yes. If anybody has any questions for Felipe.
Well, I wasn't sure if it just, so I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. So however.
Thank you so much again,
yes.
Souza and Tachi. Well, that was, I have to travel now in Brazil, and I'm going to get a plane, but it was amazing to see you all and to try to explain some of our process of the human rights in our constitution, and to introduce all of the teams that are going next. Thank you.
So Felipe, then I have one question for Felipe, and maybe the others can answer it too after the presentations. But before you go, just as a constitutionalist, also this is the area that I care about the most. But what I see in the United States is a dismantling of our constitutional framework, because it doesn't have the kind of principles that you have, particularly when it comes to social transformation. So I just wonder if you can comment on this, like what I saw when I was there too, that what that kind of constitutional protection does is protect the country from an authoritarian rule. So in other words, even though you have someone come in, what they can do potentially is zero the budget. So they don't provide social services, but they can't dismantle the Constitution in the same way that we're seeing a real dismantling, I think, of the US Constitution. So do you think, would you agree with that? This is my sort of sense. Yes. And I'm curious what the other speakers, but is that because of those protections in the framework of the Constitution that you in fact had more protection between that transition from Bolsonaro to Lula than we do in the United States?
Yes, for instance, you actually get the point, because you got the point, because I was trying to say some of the things that if you leave it wide open, like for instance, we passed through Bolsonaro in this whole period, and if we didn't have anything written and positive in our constitution, it will be much more worse, because he tried to take a lot of this human rights, and we were protected by the Supreme Court in this process. We were protected by the law in this process, because he tried to dictate a lot of things here to take our human rights in this process, and to cut down these human rights, from labor to dignidade da pessoa humana, of human rights, and also a lot of things that he tried to prohibit the abortion. He tried to, but the Supreme Court ruled by the Constitution and by the people that were doing this democratic act of constructing those rights. Participation in the process was essential to Brazil. That's what I was trying to say.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again. Now we are back in Brazil. We have now we have the chance to dream again. Okay.
Can I ask a question? Yes, it's because thank you, Felipe, for your explanation. And I know that in this research you made over the constituent dialogues, you saw a lot of those videos and transcripts of what the discussions, what they were like. And something that was very interesting to me regarding my area of study, and I think that you can maybe talk about a little more, because most of the human rights and fundamental rights in our constitution, we have a really large constitution in Brazil. It's very different from the one in the US, but the core of our constitution is in the beginning, in the Article 5, as you mentioned. But the children, they were left for the Article 227. So, and this is something that when I am teaching this subject, I discuss a lot with my students, and I believe you read something more about it. And I think that this is very interesting regarding this participation of the citizens and the NGOs that you mentioned, right?
Yes, thank you, Bruna. I was working in Brasilia, evaluating the law courses of PhD course in Brazil, and I was before I go back to the hotel or anything. I went to the Congress, and on the base of the Congress there is this library of all the debates that they did about the Constitution. And there was this guy, João, that he knew all the places that they were hidden, these debates. And he went with me to see and to watch all those dialogues. It was very rich experience. And he was an assistant of the systematization committee of Bernardo Cabral. And he worked with all the process, and he was telling me that people were discussing the human rights of the children in a separate committee, and they were talking. In this separate committee, they introduced the law, the Brazilian law about the children. The Estatuto das Crianças e Adolescentes, the human rights law about the children, federal law, took start on that committee. But they were discussing this too much time, and the constitution time in Brazil, they were late. About 500 days we published the late days we published the constitution. And they were voting the articles, and they forgot that the systematization committee forgot that there was this committee just to discuss the children. And they voted the fifth, the sixth, the seventh articles, and so the people from the committee of the children get back to them and said to them, well, our work is done. Now we can. Well, but we were already voted the fifth article. We can put your article on 227. Well, but it's too far away. No, but we will put something on the main line, saying that the state and the family in Brazil has to prioritize those articles from the children, just to explain that they are important to us in the Constitution. So they put the phrase about this, that you have to prioritize those rights, but they were on the very end of the Constitution because of the time that this committee, the specific committee of the children, were discussing. So they were left out about the fifth chapter of the Constitution, and they were put it on the back of the Constitution.
Thank you so much.
It's an interesting story about how it happened. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Thank you so much, Felipe, and a special thank you then if you're getting ready to get in a plane. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us.
Well, I love you all. It's very nice to see you, and congratulations for your great work. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.